The great uncle of Indian kids. November 14 is a day which every Indian child eagerly awaits. And why not? On this day, they are showered with much love. It is that special day when a great freedom fighter, erudite statesman, and architect of post independence India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, was born. He is fondly referred to as Chacha Nehru because of his special affection to children. His birthday is thus celebrated as Children's Day or Bal Divas every year. For Chacha Nehru, both children and roses reflected the finest blend of grace and beauty of the world. So he always kept a rose tucked in his jacket front. For him, children were the real assets and strength of the society. Pandit Nehru was therefore a strong advocate of children's education. On his 132nd birth anniversary, let us look at some interesting facts about the country's first Prime Minister. Jawaharlal Nehru was born on the 14th of November 1889 in Allahabad to affluent and well-known parents Motilal Nehru and Swarup Rani Tussu. He had two younger sisters, Vijayalakshmi and Krishna Huti Singh, who grew up to become prominent personalities as well. The former became the first female president of the United Nations General Assembly and the latter a famous author. Nehru grew up in the famous Anand Bhavan, which his father bought in the year 1930 for his family's residence. In the year 1970, Jawaharlal Nehru's daughter Indira Gandhi donated Anand Bhavan to the Indian government, and it's known as a historic house museum today. As a child, Nehru was very observant and thoughtful. He was homeschooled until his teenage years, after which he pursued further studies abroad. He was well read and well versed in many different subjects, graduating with honors in natural science and then pursuing law in London. He returned to India in 1912, practicing as an advocate in Allahabad and qualified to become a barrister. In the year 1916, he married Kamala Kaul. Their daughter, Indira Gandhi, was born the next year. She would grow up to become the first and till date the only female Prime Minister of India. Nehru had developed an interest in Indian politics right from his days as a student in Britain. Within a short time since his return to India, his interest in practicing law began to dwindle. He was keener on participating in political activities. He was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's principle of non-violence and was among the first to suggest the idea of complete independence from the British. He participated and led several marches and demonstrations and was imprisoned 9 times during his fight for India's freedom. He spent 3,259 days in prison. When he was imprisoned from 1934 to 1935, Nehru wrote his autobiography Toward Freedom, which was published in 1936. The very first speech Nehru made as the Prime Minister of independent India, titled Tryst with Destiny, is considered to be one of the greatest speeches of history. Despite gaining his education from the West, Nehru wore sherwanis, chudidars, and long kurtas during the freedom struggle. Nehru's clothing soon garnered attention and a following. His cap came to be known as Nehru Topi, while his jacket came famous as Nehru Jacket. Some of the most eminent institutes in our country, including the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, the Indian Institutes of Technology, IITs, the Indian Institutes of Management, IIMs, and the National Institutes of Technology, NITs, were established under his leadership. As many as 4 attempts were made to assassinate Pandit Nehru. The first one was during the partition of India and 3 others in 1955, 1956 and 1961. His death was announced to the parliament in words similar to Nehru's own at the time of Mahatma Gandhi's assassination. The light is out. As many as 1.5 million people from all across the country attended Nehru's cremation ceremony.